In this video, we're going to look at section 2-7, percent of change. So there's a couple things we got to cover before we start tackling percent of change, because there are different situations of which to proceed. So first off, percent of change is an increase or decrease and is expressed as a percent. So we have a percent of increase or a percent of decrease. Now, the procedures, there's multiple of them, so we're going to go through them here slide by slide. If we just need to find the percent of change. Well, I didn't list it, but first, the very first thing before even the number one on the list is it an increase or a decrease? That's always, it's pretty obvious which one it is, but that's what you have. But then once you just identify whether it's an increase or decrease, you find the difference between the original and the new. So you just subtract the two. It doesn't matter which one comes first, just make sure the biggest one comes first so you have a positive number. Number two, divide the difference by the original. You always divide by the original. And then you multiply that by 100, and then you add a percent sign, and that'll give you your percent. Okay, we'll go through an example of that one here after we cover the other slides. If we're trying to find the new amount, so you're given the original and a percent, divide the percent by 100 to create the decimal. Okay, then take the decimal and then multiply it by the original amount, and then you will add or subtract from the original. Well, this that depends on whether it's an increase or decrease, such as a tax, you would add, all right, or a discount you would subtract. Okay. And now here's two of them on the same slide. First, to find the original amount from an increase, you divide the percent by 100, then add 1. So if you end up with 0.64, you would add 1 and get 1.64. Then you'll divide the new amount by the decimal plus 1. So you'll divide by that number you get after you add 1. And that'll give you the original amount. To find the original amount from a decrease, you divide the percent by 100, so you get a decimal, then subtract from 1. So again, 0.64, you do 1 minus 0.64. And then you divide the new amount by whatever 1 minus the decimal is. Okay, so let's go through some examples. Okay, so here we got two of them. We'll just start with A. State whether each is a percent of change is an increase or decrease, then find the percent of change. So in the first one, we can see that it went up 3, so this is an increase. Okay, and so following the steps, we got to subtract. 28 minus 25 would give us 3. Then we're going to take that 3 and divide by the original, always the original. And that will give us 0.12. And then multiply by 100, which would give us 12, and then add a percent sign. So we had a 12% increase. And that's how we do it. Okay, so now B, 30 down to 2. So this is obviously a decrease. So again, I'm still going to subtract. 30 minus 12 would give us 18. And then again, always, always, always divide by the original. So 18 divided by the original, 30, would give us 0.6. Then multiply by 100 would give us 60, and then add a percent. So it's a 60% decrease from the original. All right, now the National Football League's fields are 120 yards long. The Canadian Football Leagues are 25% longer. How long is the CFL field? So longer means it's an increase. So we are going to take 25 and percent divide by 100. That would give us 0.25. Take that number, multiply it by the original amount. Okay, I'm just moving it over. So we get 0.25 times 120. 0.25 times 120, that gives us a grand total of 30. Now I'm going to take that 30 and add it to the original. 30 plus 120. So I get 150. So CFL fields are 150 yards long. And there you go. A recent percent of increase, okay, it says increase in tuition at Northwestern University was 5.4%. If the new cost is $29,940 per year, find the original cost per year. So once again, now you can go back to the directions in the slides. So we got to take 5.4%, okay, and then divide by 100. That gives us 0.054. Now this is an increase, so we need to take that 0.054 and add it to 1, which would just give us 1.054. From there, we follow the next step, and we got to take 29,940 and divide it by 1.054. Okay, so in this case, the calculators are the numbers are kind of tricky, so grab a calculator. 29,940 divided by 1.054. And we get approximately, we're going to round to the cents. So we get $28,406.07. So it looks like it went up about $1,500 just comparing the new cost and the original. Okay, so I'm just following my directions. A concert ticket costs $45. If the sales tax is 6.5%, what is the total price of the ticket? So they gave us the percent increase and the original cost. So 6.25% divided by 100, which would give us 0.0625. Take that number, times it by the original, 0.0625. Awkward numbers, a lot of extra work. I'm going to grab my calculator, and I get 2.8125, and I'm going to round that to 2.81 because we're talking money. So, and then take that and add it to the original, so we get $47.81. So after tax is $47.81. Okay, a sweater is on sale for 35% off the original price. If the original price of the sweater is $38, what is the discounted price? Okay, so we can, now again, there's two ways we can do this. One is find the discount, the percent off, or you can follow the steps I gave you. So I'm going to do both here for you. So once again, 35% divided by 100, which would give us 0.35. 1 minus 0.35 is equal to 0.65. So 38 times 0.65. I'm going to grab my calculator. 38 times 0.65, and that would give us 24.7 or $24.70. So that's one method. Now I'm going to do the subtraction method. Okay, so I'm still going to use that 35%, but now I'm just going to take $38 times 0.35. 38 times 0.35 is 13.3, and then I'm going to subtract 38 minus 13.3, which would still give me $24.70. So either way works, it's just what you're more comfortable with in this situation. I did give you steps to follow in a previous slide, so if you need that, you can use it. So